Interesting. Okay. Now it's being recorded. Okay. Hello, this is our final project for modeling analysis for spring 2021, and we did our project on a paper called Modeling Information Diffusion in Online Social Networks. A summary of the article was the researchers analyzed spread of information on social media platforms like Twitter and Dig. On Dig, they analyzed 133 posts about news stories with over 3,000 votes individually. They considered how long the posts were popular by the amount of influenced people, meaning how many people came in encounter with it, and then they subdivided the people into groups of how they arrived at the post, meaning the number of steps it took for them to go through the platform of Dig to arrive at that news story. So if it was a primary encounter, it was through one account, or if they went through one account and then arrived at the post, then that would be 2 or 3 and up to 6. This paper was published in 2013, so it is a different age of social media. Social media was very popular in 2013, but obviously in 2021, it has grown exponentially more. So there's also this factor to consider. 60% of the news stories that were posted about on Dig were at least 80% accurate of the time, and the ones that were over 90% accurate were 13% of the stories. However, to consider a more specific conditions, they made very specific parameters for each of the stories and posts, and then the accuracy was much higher. So the accuracy for a broad spectrum did not necessarily produce a high result for all of them. And then most of the graphs were charted when the post was first made in the first 40 hours of the lifetime of it. However, they realized that many posts continue to have a long lifetime up to many years after. This might be due to a seasonal effect. If it's about a holiday, then it might have a resurgence at that time of year every year, and then a lull during the rest of the year. These are the parameters. They were constants, and the researchers found these values in their data. And the data is from the decay of spread of influence from the most popular stories on Dig, which are those 133 posts about news stories. Then they used those constants to get this equation for rate of change of R with respect to time, where R is the decay of news influence with respect to time, alpha is the decay rate, and gamma is the initial rate of influence, and beta is the residual rate as time increases. And then the formula for dRdt is negative alpha times R plus beta, and the initial condition where R begins is R of 1 is equal to gamma. This equation can model the decay of news influence with respect to time, meaning how long a news story might be popular on the front pages of Dig. And then the equation also is validated by the researchers because the data collected on Dig was very accurate. And then the authors developed this formula and others in the paper by observing the conservation law of information flow.
So we created this block diagram to model the differential equation that Audrey just mentioned. We utilized the same parameters from the original article. For example, the initial condition of the integrator block is gamma, and then we have alpha and beta. Same parameters. So then we also created a block diagram with different parameters in which we changed the initial condition of the integrator block, and we also changed alpha and beta. So the new parameters, alpha is negative 1.5, beta is 0.0375, and gamma is negative 1.15. Our original parameters were from the spread of the most popular news stories on Dig and how the influence of these stories decayed over time. We found another article that also studied R of T for Dig, and the alternative parameters are from the data of the decay of the spread of influence in the first hour of the news stories being published on Dig. So how we derived these alternative parameters, the second article we found used this equation to model the decay rate in the spread of influence during the first hour the story was posted. This equation on its own does not tell us all the parameters such as alpha, beta, or gamma to plug into the differential equation. However, our original article gave us this equation, and using this equation, we were able to deduce alpha, beta, and gamma from the equation from the new article. So this is the scope from the article that they created using the parameters from their data. Using our block diagram, we were able to model the same scope using the original parameters, which shows that our block diagram was indeed created correctly. This is our scope with our alternative parameters. So we were able to recreate the same scope that the article created for RT by using their equation to make the block diagram that was previously shown. When using the alternative parameters, we used the same block diagram but simply adjusted the values. The scope with the alternative parameters matches the same exponential trend as the scope with the original parameters. The paper that we reviewed also delved into the bifurcation analysis of changing parameter values of models and the effects it has depending on the popularity and spreadability of a particular post in social media.
So all the Dig posts with more than 3,000 votes showed strong evidence that the linear diffusive model displays the heterogeneity diffusion patterns of topics, which tells us that what the models reflect is very accurate and precise, matching the behavior of Dig users and how they interact with the social media platform. Thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Stop recording. Stop recording? No, she's not done. Oh my goodness. Stop recording.